of 100 rappers, there's like 5 Asian American rappers.
There aren't many Asian rappers doing it.
You'll hear Asian rappers that sound Asian.
What's this whole business about sounding black?
Dude, it's so frustrating. Aquafina has a booking agent. I've been trying to do that for like the last 5 years.
A cute Asian girl who has like catchy hipster songs, like you know how to sell that.
It's like the hip-hop elitists that want to tear me down because like they're not used to seeing a little diminutive Asian girl.
There's nothing better than being underestimated.
You never see an Asian that's really being innovative ever complain about how unfair it is.
Like I'm Superman.
I'm not just a rapper, I'm an activist.
They expect us to be that amount of minorities.
We need that champion. We need to be better than everybody.
I don't think that I'm a spokesperson for Asian Americans at all, but I think that when I'm out there, I'm representing them.
Fuck stereotype, you know? Fuck what you expect.
Thank you guys for sticking around. And thank you for leaving as well. But yeah, what did you guys think? Yeah? Thank you. Shout out to the young lady in the front. I saw you were dying over there. Like, I was like, is she gonna be okay? But yeah, thank you guys so much for enjoying the film. So yeah, I'm open. I'm here for you guys. Ask away, except for my Social Security.
Okay. First off, amazing video. I love the realness. I love how, like, I understand. Like, I've seen this. I've seen NC Gen and Traffic, and I've been wondering, like, why aren't there a lot of Asian rappers? These people can actually rap. Why aren't they being signed, and why aren't they, out there? But like seeing this, it's like y'all doing y'all thing. Y'all are actually getting up there, and dumbfounded is literally incredible. But my question is, so what are your views on Tyga? Because I know he's like half Asian, he's half Vietnamese, so I was wondering, like, what was your views on him and, in the rap community as well as him being...
Yeah, I mean, I think Tyga's an amazing artist. I mean, I personally can't say that I'm his biggest fan, but I do turn up to his music when I'm in a club environment. But I don't think he ever openly, like, claimed his Asian heritage, as some of the artists in this film has. Tyga's kind of like Tiger Woods in the sense, like, I think people in the black community resonate more closely with Tyga, even though he does have a strong Vietnamese heritage. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much my thought. I think he's a great artist, but I don't even think many people in the Asian American community even know that he has a Vietnamese heritage, although I do know that because he has stated that in many interviews that his grandma is Vietnamese American and has raised him. So yeah, that's my thought. Yes.
I was curious, you guys consider interviewing two scholars, like Filipino rappers?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm actually, I wouldn't say I'm good friends with them, but I'm acquaintances with them. Gio and Sab, like, I like those guys a lot. So I know that is one of the questions that we always get after every screening is like, why didn't you include Lyrics Born? Why didn't you include, Heems? Why didn't you include the Mountain Brothers? They were in the film. Yeah, I mean, we wanted to include a lot of other artists, but as you could tell, the film, we wanted to focus the film on stories about the characters more so than making a historical channel style documentary where we just have a bunch of talking heads talking about the Asian American rap experience. We wanted to use these 4 characters to symbolize what each Asian American artist are going through. So for instance, we have a female character, we have a quote unquote Christian boom bap, this dual identity person, and we have a battle champ who's recognized in the APA community, but Hot 97 Zebro, possibly, arguably one of the biggest radio DJs in the US, has no idea who he is. And we have guys like Rex Dizzy who, even though what he is doing could be politically incorrect, he is fighting for his artistry. So we wanted to use these 4 characters to pretty much summarize the stories of many other Asian American rap artists So I hope that answered your question. Yeah. Yes, young lady in the front. Yeah. Yeah, no, that's you. Yeah, yeah.
First off, I really love the movie.
Thank you so much.
But like during
I
the
really love
scene-
your hair.
Thank you. During the OVO convention battle rap thing, like I was cringing because of the things that Conceited was saying.
Right.
Right.
And the blatant racism. And I just really think that black people of all like should really know like how hurtful that is to really do that, especially in a public place. And I'm just thinking, what do you think the steps are to like mitigating that hurt and that kind of disparity between Asian American rappers and black rappers?
Right. I mean, that's a discussion that I feel like it's a pretty long discussion, because even though I grew up on hip hop, I wasn't always accepted in the hip hop community as an Asian American. I think the first step is actually really visibility of Asian Americans as a whole. I don't think it's just that the black rappers are malicious people that they just want to sabotage these Asian American artists. I think it's more so ignorance. It's not ignorance in like, yo, these guys are stupid, but it's just ignorance that they have never seen like an Asian person that talk like me, that walk like me, that actually could comprehend English and could actually, act normally. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you see in the beginning of the film, like Asian American portrayal on television or in media as a whole is usually very one-sided. So some of these guys, like for instance, Conceited, the only Asian American he probably interacted with, and I don't want to, put a stamp on it because I don't know his upbringing, but he probably only saw the Chinese takeout guy or whoever that he saw on TV. So in his head, he might be thinking, oh, it's actually okay for me to like say whatever I want to say about Asian Americans, because it never registered in his head like, yo, it's not okay. And the same argument could be said about Asians in Asia, like they would do blackface and nobody has checked them like, yo, nah, that's not okay. But if as Asian Americans, like as Asians that grew up in America, like, nah, there are certain things that are racially insensitive. So I really think it's visibility. I really think it's conversations. And I think this particular generation, I mean, I'm not that old, but the kids that are even younger than me that grew up with YouTube and Instagram, they have much more access to seeing normal or even cool Asian Americans doing dope things. So I think their understanding is a lot more wide and a lot more developed than even guys that were maybe like my age or even a little older. So I think it's a progress, and I think it's getting better. Yes. The gentleman in the front, yes. I'm sorry, I thought it was I'm sorry, there's a young lady wearing a Philadelphia and Korean hoodie.
My question is, what do you think, what's your opinion on the newfound popularity of Korean rappers abroad, like Keith Ape, and you also have the new freestyle that came out recently. So what's your opinion on how those groups seem to be popular, but it doesn't seem to be picking up for like the Korean American or Asian American?
Right. I mean, so that's actually one of the discussions that we had. So the young lady's question was, there's been a surge of Korean rappers from Korea getting more acclaim in America than Korean American rappers that's been putting in years of work. Is that like a summary of your question? Like, what are my thoughts about it? My thoughts is that initially it really mind boggled me because, okay, here I'm an American, I look like those guys, but I'm kind of like segregated in another way. Whereas like those guys from my motherland who probably like never seen what I've seen as an Asian American is getting more acceptance. And I think the reason why is because of their exoticness. Is not necessarily the skill level. I mean, the skill level is definitely there, but first of all, there's a language barrier, so like you don't even understand what the fuck these guys are saying. So I think it's really the exoticness. I definitely know those rappers, some of those rappers on a personal basis, and they're very talented guys in their native language. but it's kind of similar to the Psy phenomenon. So when people were first gravitating towards Psy, the musicality was there, but it wasn't like, wow, this guy's the next Michael Jackson. It was really like, yo, this is some weird shit. Wow, I've never seen this before. And I think the type of reaction that Keith Ape generated was somewhat similar to that. It was like, what is going on right now, So I think with that, it's a great breaking point. I think the next step for guys like myself or the characters in the film is, okay, like, how do we step it up more? But I have nothing but respect and love for those guys. Yeah. Any other questions? Yes.
So I was just saying that the 4 that you featured, we saw Koreatown and New York. How did you choose these 4 artists? It seemed like they knew each other. Are they connected to you somehow?
Right. So I hope the director and the co-producer Salima is here as well to answer that question, because she actually decided to follow these 4 characters. But yeah, I mean, I personally know these guys before the film started. As you've seen in the film, I actually managed one of the characters at one point, unfortunately. No, I love that guy. But yeah, so, we definitely had our differences during my time with them. But the reason why we decided to go with these 4 characters is because, one, each of them represented a different point in their careers. You have Aquafina, who's this female rapper who is not a traditional rapidy rapper, but she came out of like nowhere with this viral hit, and she's getting all this acclaim. And side note, she's actually gonna be in the reboot of Ocean's 11, Ocean's 8, as one of the female leads, next to like Sandra Bullock, like Rihanna, and all these. So like all the other 3 characters are now, yo, what the fuck? Like, Nora, don't leave us. And then you have this battle champ, Dumbfounded, who's like a legend in the APA community who never got his break. And then you have this guy, Reg and Rick, who are all in different points in their careers. And we thought that dynamic was really interesting. And the other thing was that they're real life friends. So, you see them around a lot together, even without the camera rolling, they're together anyway. So it kind of made sense for us to have these characters on the screen, and there's a lot of like stories that we could pick from them. And it made sense for us to ask questions for each of them about each other. So from a narrative perspective, it just made a lot of sense for us. The gentleman, yeah.
I just have a question. When you think about fighting for respect and breaking down barriers, which barriers do you find are the hardest ones to break down? Is it within the hip-hop community, rappers themselves? Is it people behind the scenes, producers, and the business side? Is it fans? Which barriers do you find are the hardest to break down?
That's a question I never thought about, and that's the first, I think. So congratulations to you, buddy. Let's see. I think it's a combination of all. We included the scene with the industry insiders in the film because we consider that as one of the key barriers. Because I myself was an industry insider at one point. I was an editor at XXL, now defunct hip hop magazine, but at one point it was a very well respected hip hop magazine. So I was an editor there, and they would do this freshman issue every year. And every year I would pitch Dumbfounded, like, yo, there's this kid Dumbfounded that you should check out. And most of my peers in the office had no idea who this guy was, even though like he has millions of views on YouTube and he has this great battle career. Nobody really even cared. So that made me really think like, okay, it's not always the skill, it's about who you know, and it's about who's really repping for you behind the scenes. When I had that realization, it started to make sense. Like, it's up to these guys to decide who's going to be on your TV screen, who's going to be on the radio station, who's going to be in your magazine covers. So we need more people. Not only do we need more talents, I noticed that we also need people behind the scenes to green lighting things, to saying, yeah, it's okay to shoot that way. It's okay. It's not okay to represent or portray Asian Americans in that perspective. So to answer your question, I think is you need more people inside to create more visibility on the outside, but I think it's something that has to be done equally. Right now, I think too many people are just focused on we need more Asian American talents. Yes, but no, 'cause some of you are horrible. Like, you know, stick to being a lawyer or an accountant. Like, you know what I'm saying? But we definitely need more people in the producer seats, greenlighting things. So I hope that answered your question. Yes. Any other questions? Yes.
I kind of know, like, what's your opinion on the YouTube channel called 88 Rising?
88 Rising?
Yeah, you heard about that, right?
My personal opinion? I do know people that are personally involved with that channel. I can't really speak too much into it because I know too many details that
I just kind of want to ask you, like, they're trying to make a fusion of Asian culture and hip-hop culture to create new product, to make it, like, more appealing and marketable to the mainstream. Like, do you think that's the right trend for the Asian hip-hop community? Is that really the way we should be doing it?
I mean, you know, like, I don't work for that company, so I can't really say what they're doing is right or wrong, but I definitely liked some of the content that they produce, including having Designer doing a karaoke of Panda, or like having Lil Yachty rapping to a Big Bang record. I thought those were all brilliant ideas. I think the fusion of quote-unquote Asian culture with mainstream hip-hop culture is something that is fresh, and I think if anything, bad rap, it's another embodiment of that. So I have a lot of respect for the guys behind 88 Rising. Right. Yes, in the middle.
I have two questions.
Yes,
so I'm
my
just
man
curious.
just had to go with two.
Yeah.
Everybody had one. It's like, yo, Shen Long, let me get two choices.
They're related though. So the first one, I'm just curious, like, with these four rappers, how they kind of came about. Like, were they part of like crews, or did they just kind of do their own thing from the start? And a related question is, like, are there kind of epicenters for, I guess, like Asian American rappers right now in the US?
I think the epicenter is any K-town in LA and New York, and that's an epicenter if you want to call it. And go to a place called Cafe Blue in LA, or Maru, or in K-town in New York. Those are epicenters for these guys. You could probably catch them on a good Friday night, wilding out. But they weren't actually crews. As you could tell from the film, everybody kind of grew up or hailed from different regions. Like Aquafina and Rec, they're both from Queens, but they had no idea who each other was until their rap careers. Dumbfound is from LA, K-town. Rick is from Virginia. So all these guys really connected under the title of being an Asian American rapper. If anything, they became a crew now, like the Bad Rap Crew, which myself and the director is not invited to. They have their own chat rooms where they probably talk shit about us that we don't know what we don't know about. But yeah, they communicate with each other on I believe on a daily basis. So they're very tight-knit, close friends. Yes, in the back.
I got them.
Yeah, the young lady has it.
I appreciate the film. I appreciate that it was character-driven, and we got to see characters with their families in their elements. So I very much appreciate that. So the question is, there were some industry elements where it was said that the artistry speaks for itself. So if you have a dope product, it shouldn't matter. Do you believe that? And I guess the second part of it is, if you believe it, then what is the hurdle?
That's an excellent question. I think I kind of answered it earlier when I was answering this gentleman. I believe the artistry matters, but in addition to artistry, I also believe that you need to know the right people as well. I don't think it's just strictly artistry, at least from my experience, because or at the same time, it just takes time. And, everybody has, because it's not all about skills, luck is involved as well. For instance, this character Lyrics, we weren't able to capture it, but he has a video with as a group with his partner named JL. They're a group called Ear of the Ox. So after this film was finished, their video for a song called 7 Rings dropped. And that video went viral, and it currently has like 8 million views. And everybody's like, yo, who are these guys? Like, they're amazing. Like, they could rap really well, and they're Asians. And like, yo, motherfucker, like, they've been rapping for 15 years. Like, you guys just didn't know who they were, you know what I mean? It's, don't Columbus this shit, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, like, they didn't really get that break until the momentum from the film, the momentum of the video. They had that video placed on a website called Team Backpack, which has a huge following. So without those type of connections, even though you could be the best rapper in the world, like, you know, you could still be slept on. So I think it's a combination of both. I think you need skills to be recognized by people you need skills to be recognized by gatekeepers, but you also need the gatekeepers to recognize you. I hope that answered your question.
So part 2 of the question, because you did sort of answer it
Okay.
in another question.
I didn't expect the part 2, but
Sorry.
okay.
I didn't want to go with 2 questions.
No, it's all good, it's all good.
Do you think the level of I have to be careful the way I phrase this, because I don't want to stomp on anyone's artistry, but do you think the level of integrity that Asian American artists might hold is stifling a little bit? So the way that the industry is moving, you have people with like dance songs and are hugely popular, and that carries them. Do you think the level of integrity and wanting to be an excellent lyricist is a barrier?
I don't think it's a barrier, because I think, if anything, more than ever, like, I think because, you know, dance element in hip hop always existed. I mean, the first rap hit was, you know, Sugar Hill Gang, and that's a very danceable record. And I think, if anything, the time is perfect for those two type of things to coexist. So you have guys like Lyrics. I mean, even in this film, you have guys like Lyrics, who's a traditional boom bap lyricist that aspires to the Jays and the Nas's. And then you have someone like Awkwafina, who's rambling about her vag, and it's hilarious and it's great. And it's, you know, what you would call more of a hip, dance-driven record. And even in this film, those two type of things could coexist, and the industry insiders have praised both artists. And, you know, same thing as the landscape right now. Like, you have Drake, who's technically a pop artist, Young Thug, who I don't even understand what he's saying, but is amazing. And then you have Kendrick Lamar, who, you know, hands down is probably the best lyricist of this generation. So I think all those artists are doing very well for themselves. So but I definitely do think that being an Asian American artist, you know, your standards are expected a little bit higher, like how it was for Latino American rappers and white rappers. As it was mentioned in the film, like, it wasn't until Big Pun, like, Latin Americans were really accepted as like, yo, you guys could really rap. So you do need that one champion, you know? It wasn't until Eminem, like, yo, like, white people could really rap too. So maybe we might need an Asian American Eminem or a Big Pun, you know? Maybe that's a homework for a lot of Asian American rappers, or maybe not, you know?
All right,
Yeah.
I think we got time for one more question. And then get
Yes.
into the
And
music.
you know, I got to rap after this, right? So I don't know if I'm going to have enough energy. I just flew back from Korea yesterday, and I'm like super jet lagged. So it's just an excuse.
Anyone else have another question?
Was it in the front? Oh, yes.
Hi, what was the biggest challenge in producing this film?
The biggest challenge, aside from money, is money and money and money, and time and money. But I really wish my partner was here today to explain her side of the story, because first of all, she's not Asian American. So she was able to really look at she's an African American girl from California. I'm an Asian American boy from Queens, New York. So, you know, I grew up on this shit. Like, this is like my life. Whereas her, she was looking at it from a third person's perspective. Like, she was kind of entering into this world. So there was a lot of like clashes initially in terms of like artistic approach. Like, the first 15-minute history segment, like, that was like my vision. Like, yo, this is how the film is gonna be. She was like, nah, fuck that. That shit is boring as hell. Like, we're gonna make it focusing on the 4 characters. So those type of artistic clashes initially were, we had a lot of those debates. And then producing an independent documentary is like, I wish I could show you all the grades that I have now. It's a painstaking process. I mean, it's really a labor of love. Every step of the way, it's pretty much a fire drill, because it's like your first time doing this thing. So, doing a crowdfunding with Indiegogo is like, yo, what's going on? Like, we just raised this money. How do we pay taxes? Oh, we got to get this thing color corrected. Wait, hold up. We got to get this thing called DCP for the festivals. That's going to cost us more money. Wait, these festivals are not paying us? Like, you're like learning all these things as you go, and we're still figuring these things out. I mean, right now we're in the midst of getting this film ready so it could be readily available on a bigger platform so everybody could watch it. And that process itself is another legal headache that we're learning right now. So, I really can't say, but if you know a good sponsor, make sure that person hollers at us, because we could need some financial help. So, and that's for real. Like, so make sure y'all go to badrapfilm.com and cop a hoodie or a beanie and support. Thank you guys, appreciate it.
All right. All right. So before we get started, I just want to bring down our guest curator, Scott Chops Jung from the Mountain Brothers. So Scott, for the last couple of years, has been more and more involved in the film scene. I think a lot of folks who are like old heads in the music industry, and especially Asian American rap scene, know him from Mountain Brothers, of course. But the last few years, I mean, you've been here since, like, every festival since 2013.
Yeah. Rob said there was going to be Asian food later, so that's why. My name is, I go by Chops. I'm a music producer. I was in a group, Mountain Brothers. We're the first Asian American rap group signed to a major label. My partner from the group is actually up there, parallel from the group. If you
Yo, I didn't know you was here. Parallel, what's up?
And so we did our thing with the group, and I've gone on to work with different people, Kanye West, Nicki Minaj, different Ice Cube, different people, and Lil Wayne. And one of the things that I did a couple years ago was I got together a bunch of my favorite Asian American rappers and singers for a project called Strength in Numbers. And it had a lot of the people that you saw on the screen, including this gentleman right here, Jaeki. And this particular song had 3 MCs from Queens, and it was one of my favorite songs from the joint. And I figured it would be perfect to have him rhyme as well, you know what I mean? You see him in a behind-the-scenes kind of capacity, but he's really nice. And I'd like y'all to give it up for Jaeki.
Thank you. So, unfortunately, I forgot the lyrics to that particular record, but please give it up for Chops. He's an OG, he's a veteran. Without him, a person like myself wouldn't be doing this. So, I rap mostly in Korean. So I know, like, a young lady earlier was saying, yo, what do you think about rappers rapping in Korean? And yeah, like, I'm one of those guys now. So I rap mostly in Korean, and I would like to just do some songs for y'all. Hope y'all can stick around. And we got some other great MCs that'll be following after my little set. So hey, DJ, please drop it, man. Let's go with the first record.
So this record is a little tribute to an OG K-pop group called HOT. And the hook is real simple. I just need y'all to bounce to this. Hey, HOT. Ha, to God, to God, to God. Ha, to God, to God, to God. HOT. Ha, to God, to God, to God. Ha, to God, to God, to God. 그래 너 네가 뭔데 날 평가해 너 얼마나 살아들게 뭐가 있고 만들게 뭐가 있는데 이름 건 적 없이 어디 살듯이 나들게 나 지금까지 너무 착해 들어봐 챙기는 소중한 사람을 아주 받아 형 동생 친구 부모님 난 날 좋아 사위사 버려 하던 어머니들 만나 다 감사해 내 섬생한 오지랖 덕에 그 작은 씀씀이로 감사해 좋게 보고 자른 게 있어 나 감사해 밤새 내 오늘도 부모님께 인사해 이제 내 차례 보잘 것 없는 농참만 해 그래서 작은 데만 이원해 어차피 넉대한 듯 믿을 약이지 시켜먹기 전 기도해 H.O.T. yeah. Come on y'all, I need y'all to turn up a little bit 뜨거 H.O.T. yeah. 뜨거 나 적들에게 피하고 싶지만 필요한 상대 나 고용인들 주변에 두고 파란다 난 이제 잡것들은 뭐네 예산으로 받아마고 거부는 뭐네 탈선 정보자가 필요 없는 현금 사람 살려버린 돈보다 더 탐욕스러운 뭐네 다 가지 레슨 다 먹을래 정 많긴 해 조금 나눠줄게 월세 내 그렇게 쉬기 위해 Yo So I gotta go, you better know 덤비기 전 뱉는다고 확인 좀 입어 한 단계 올라간다고 유지해냈어 혹하게 돼야 할 몸컴이 나루토 H.O.T. Hey yo man, let's go to the next joint. That's a little turn up record. It feels a little weird with all these lights, you know what I'm saying? I kinda had to put the shades on because I kept squinting, you know what I mean? But let's go to the next record. It sound real quick. It's just to show a little bit of dexterity, you know what I mean? Hey, yo. 그렇게 소리 지르지마 사실 좀 웃긴다 총 본 적 없잖아 트랩 하면 오줌싸 미국에선 동양인이라 랩 못하는데 한국 가니 아이돌 파니 랩 붙잡고 있네 귀태나는 포장 너무 진한 화장 TV 나와 떠는 어장 역시 보기 민망 연기 패션 툴에 집중 거기 다나 비중 딴 것은 하지마 만들지 좀 마라 이슈 백성들의 블랙형 흉내 팔아 챙긴 집회 도해 막기 전에 막기 못해 마치 bullet 내밀어봐 작은 손 가만히 있어 나의 혼 들려줄게 나의 송 미안 줄 수 없어 돈 가해 랩 근데 없어 respect 도덕강내 부러뜨려 킥캣 에요 난 철벽하는 말에 최별날 경청만 하상 신념 난 혁명 무너뜨려 정권 다 평정시켜버려 노년 I mean light work alright yo let's drop the next joint hey yo shout out to the MBs man Parallel and Chops you know what I'm saying Philly's finest yo view the flyness of Queen's finest Buffalo York's face 800 edition shining on this expedition I'm never resting I don't like to waste a second like Tekken's Paul Phoenix burning fist the only weapon Pop a Poland spring and boy chai I'm sipping never been tongue-tied lingual is not what I intend keep it sacred burn incense when I meditate look inside myself finding answers that I can't relate contemplating for my next move, you know what I mean? Show and prove, never let my fondue is mine shorty with its key before the glory. Buddha Sutra taught me get the money over pussy. Why I eat competition like a plate of Kyrie? Bite off the meat, throw away the bone, I'm really sorry. Let me cool off and then pass the vinegar. Leading in this game, drop the inning, I'm the finisher. I swear this shit ain't no porno music. I just need y'all to bounce, you know what I'm saying? I need y'all to two-step real quick. Everybody's sitting down, but I need y'all to two-step. Once again, shout out to Philly Asian-American Film Festival for bringing out bad rap. Make sure you cop bad rap merchandise on badrapfilm.com. I've kept emphasizing. Korean immigrant with mission, put foes in submission. Without force, they never tend to listen. Me and Rob now, I'm taking old bills like Chu Youngs. They too young to understand the nuance of these songs. Tucking fronting, suited up, asking for credit. Vision pyramid scheme, pocket. So the weekend, your sales pitch is too weak. Think you in the scene, you're disposable like toothpicks. So bad rap, world premiere, that Tribeca. God bless Salima and the hours that we put up. Talking to streaming companies for math don't really add up. We're gonna crack the Chinese market. You dumb fucks. Neurons, I'll bend you like futon, evaluate like coupon. Your fan base go tundra like dry lands in Yukon. Fuck do I want, conglomerate cash like DuPont, biatch. Yo man, I'm jet lag is hitting me, yo. Let's go to the last track. Let's go to the last track. Yo, for this one, I need everybody to stand up though. I need everybody to stand up for this one. Yeah. Hey. It's real simple, man. I need y'all to like stretch out, warm up a little bit. Hey, yeah, ho. Yeah. Ho is not a hoe. Ho is the last name in this song. Yeah. Look you. Nukya means feel it in Korean, you know what I'm saying? There's a lot of lower body movement in this song. Yeah, ho. Yeah, ho. Hey, yo. Come on, let's go. 건들지 마 지금 난 무척 바빠 다 왔어 그대 주차할 공간 없어 빡쳐 차 막혀 건들지 마 지금 난 무척 바빠 다 왔어 그대 주차할 공간 Fuck it 지나가는 여자 머리결이 샤방거려 은행가 뽑은 현찰 만져보니 샤방거려 가득히 닦아 꼬리에 꼬리도 샤방거려 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 Shout out to ASAP Ferg 하지만 this song is on one 박현대 정아 what up 하러 여자들 모셔 어디서 얼굴도 몸매도 죽여주는 생애 죽여서 눈에 빛나는 사주거리 스타일 갑질색 포토샵 질작작해 얼굴 비만 and fuck that shit 땡 겹친 볼참 계속 나 랩하겠다고 힙합해서 언제는 흑인들 무섭다고 한 적은 다 까먹은 채로 차 막혀 Hey yo, in the back, I need y'all to turn up. In the front, yo, these young brothers over here, man, kings without crown. I need you to turn up, let's go. Hey, woo! 지나가는 여자 머리결이 샤방거려 은혜가 뽑은 현찰 만져보니 샤방거려 가볍게 닦아 보니 꼬리도 샤방거려 Yo, once again, shout out to Chops. Shout out to everybody for coming out tonight. Shout out to Philly Asian American Film Festival. Make sure you follow Bad Rap Film. I need y'all to turn up with me one more time. Hey yo, let's go. 차 막혀 건들지 마 지금 난 무척 바빠 다 왔어 그게 주차할 공간 없어 빡쳐 차 막혀 건들지 마 지금 난 다 왔어 그때 주차할 공간 지나가는 여자 머리결이 샤방거려 은행가 뽑은 현찰 만져보니 샤방거려 Thank you guys for coming through, appreciate it.
Alright, the next artist we have is currently based in New York but has lived all around the country and originally from India. He has songs that deal with the immigrant experience, which is very relevant right now, and he has some political material for y'all. His pen game is super, super nice. I first heard about him from a friend from Penn State. We all went to Penn State. My brothers went to Penn State. A friend of ours by the name of Jay has a book about South Asian hip-hop artists. And when I was asking him who he thought one of his favorite people was as far as artistry, he recommended this gentleman right here. His name is Chi Malabar. Oh, we're working on some stuff, by the way. We're working on some music.
First of all, thank you for having me. Chops, Rob, thank you. Really appreciate it. So I've been thinking a lot about the election. You know, we kind of woke up to a new reality, and I wanted to open up my set with a cappella verse. I wrote it in 2006 on the eve of George Bush's second term. Guerrilla speech, spit raps and facts. The patriot accent, that target barks back. Pardon the heart and truth, but listen close, dude. I'm 2 rhymes away from a hardcore cell view from Guantanamo Bay. Cause the shit I'm planning to say don't sit well while the ink's still wet on the Constitution. Amended, rendered a blatant danger this year. Cause America's pattern on a culture of fear. I never gave a fuck if George Bush and Kerry won. I still ain't shit, just a third-class American. Thinking it's the life that my dear God willed. But I'm living in the kingdom that the house of Saud built. 4 more years to sing the same song. 4 more years to sing the same song. The bullet or the ballot, I guess you chose with poisons, sending our sons to die on foreign soil since they ain't your sons, they brown like me. While your son's getting drunk, getting a Yale degree. Rocking a Chase shirt as daddy hits pay dirt. Bankrolling politicians who claim we lack faith. But your politics informed by a fucking tax break. Masked by a patronizing democratic fervor to exploit Iraqi people and justify their murder. Truth is, we living under theocratic rule. In God we trust. The new neo-fascist tool is money. And you help put these vultures inside. Let them pump you with fear, then blame a cultural divide. What the fuck do you expect when Jerry Falwell's are guided? White America's in crisis, and what would Christ say about the family structure of these brown-black races? Well, let's take a closer look at what divorce rates is. Twice the national average in your Bible belt. And y'all elected Bush to help provide our help. 26 of 28 states with the lowest income rate swayed in his favor. And he's your fucking savior? Y'all stupid as fuck are compelled by Christian guilt, thinking it's a life that your dear God willed. But you living in the kingdom that the house of Saud built. Alright, so I'm just gonna share 3 songs, and hopefully y'all like it. So we can run the track. Now the Pharaoh child, he would shed the last of his innocence from immigrant bewilderment to feeling so militant. Armor consists of all the herd that been calcified, dragging live onto a cot shore and glassy-eyed, hopping corn stalking crash to all the matrons who wonder out loud which zoo did he escape from? Made from pagan blood, bathed in sage and rum. Walaikum assalam to my American awakening, married to the black struggle and the plight of bravemen. Carried all my rage from the page to the stage, then broke the brazen chains on their language of enslavement. Strangled their alphabet, mangled its arrangement. Socked the stairs, got the shaker and maimed the bass drum. From days in my basement, the scraps on the pavement. The hate for the love of the place I'm estranged from. Couldn't fix my own life, so fuck it, had to break something. My dear old mama feels I'm going astray. Chasing all my dreams, but they running away. Took a sweet, sweet stumble trying to keep up the pace. But these scars tell the world your son's coming of age. Dear old mama feels I'm going astray. Chasing all my dreams, but they running away. Took a sweet, sweet stumble trying to keep up the pace. But these scars tell the world your son's coming of age. Now I'm in my early 20s, steady searching for a purpose. Cynical and jaded, 2 tools that I work with. Feeling like Oda Benga with this modern circus of coffee shop, open mics, and on the curry circuit. Flurry of questions that made me want to murk shit. Guess it's just another test I had to learn to pass through. This is my life, ain't some shit I act black to. Soundtrack for the trap, you can smell Reagan's crack fumes. Fly on the wall that hold the dice in that crapshoot. Black moon, black star, I'm a student of that school. Sand dune cream, you the color of cashew. They'll set you out for a liberty statue. Escaping stab wounds and erasing statutes. Straight from central casting for the Patriot Act 2. Please don't dismiss this as cynical shit. I've survived on instinct and immigrant grit. My dear old mama feels I'm going astray. Chasing all my dreams, but they running away. Took a sweet, sweet stumble trying to keep up the pace. But the scars tell the world your son's coming of age. Dear old mama feels I'm going astray. Chasing all my dreams, but they running away. Took a sweet, sweet stumble trying to keep up the pace. But these scars tell the world your son's coming of age. Had to wait a hellish 8 years for promise of a new day. American me, what look like swag, but I'm foreign, American bred, American school, American thread, red, white, and blue. I'm American dumb, just like you, but I'm brown, and this color don't run like. Y'all alright? Y'all still with me? A little bit? My dear old mama feels I'm going astray, chasing all my dreams, but they running away. Took a sweet, sweet stumble trying to keep up the pace, but these scars tell the world these sons coming of age. Dear old mama feels I'm going astray, chasing all my dreams, but they running away. Took a sweet, sweet stumble trying to keep up the pace, but these scars tell the world these sons coming of age. Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it. So this next track, this one man chops. I was tossed to a pack of wolves at an early age. No urban jungle appetite, my tongue a rusty blade. 12 years old with hate simmering inside me. Lost in America with immigrant anxiety. ESL teachers mistreating like I'm dim-witted. Peers, this my misspeak, excited for the shit kickings. No friends to kick it, so I taught baby since cricket. Mama's at work, daddy missing since my 6th Christmas. So the TV had to babysit us. Each day is the same, prank today may be different. From fist fights, split lips, scraps and shit lists. My name's on, stay strong, fucking fucks game on. Like Indians in my rear view. Gone is a fearful little dude. Change the first time that he hears you. On the train strap with padlocks in my pocket. First motherfucker say something, getting rock with it. Welcome to the new world. Welcome to the new world. Sad nigga this, how'd you that? I don't give a shit. Welcome to the new world. Welcome to the new world. Wrote my first rhyme on the back of this test. I failed. Mom's bell left well, so my tail to no avail. 89 state of mind. Black Parkers on my train. Bad English on my tongue. Fuck the world, my refrain. Up in my teacher's face, cause she called me an enigma. Principal asked why. I said I ain't no nigma. Stigma, sad nigga all alone. No big bro with a part-time dad. Feel like the world just ditched ya. Shit, yeah, it's just me. Days militant haze like fuck this school day. Scowl on my face like my favorite cute day. On the schoolyard with ball fists, feuds every day. Swinging stand, got jumped, quite a few gory ones. Blood on my guest sheets, I stole from the Emporium. Orient them, gone as a cherubim smile. Born again, American feral child. Welcome to the new world. Welcome to the new world. Yo, yo. I'm Master Farad, Muhammad needs some counter shots. Pastor Sharad, holding service in that prison yard. Went in search of the sacred. Found the holy, counted on homie spaces. In those ancient spaces between flesh and ink. That hints at that pain, hit by that shame. Told my younger self, don't ever doubt what you're doing. Press on, press hard, even if the crowd be doing. Bloody quotes race the next page like the shot of tour. And I'm an echo in these modern day ruins. Man of the clock, the dapper dance soul. Stand on the spot where rhyme and flow. Hand on my crotch, that rapper man goes. Post 9/11 and I'm the ghost of Audrey Gray. Who sharpens his hundreds in our hearts of hatred. And shows up to the shows with blood on that butcher's apron. Shouts to Van the Feet Butcher. I got one more song for y'all. So this song is called Postcards from Paradise, and this goes out to anybody that has, family in other lands, grew up somewhere else. It's basically a love letter home. I was raised in a cosmopolitan spot, part of Mr. Politics of Men, where we sit, shit, frolicking nerds, smoke chronic urban, wish for things, picture rickshaws, gaudy with yellow and black trimmings, 3 wheels, hydroplane. Against the gravel through overcrowded gullies, swelling like pregnant bellies. When monsoon rains, corrugated iron roofs sway in the violent winds. The sediment stinks like rotten lettuce left in spring. My ethnic settlements, evidence, decadence lives. Brown folks, nude plane, bathing shit and drinking brain. Laid in the same puddle, riddled with mosquitoes, the size of bald eagles, breeding malaria, no vaccine. Ain't no quinine, we need to die of history. Outside of history on the fray, lost as a paisley pattern teardrop in the Arabian Sea off the coast of Bombay. Something like love, something like hope, something like beautiful, something I wrote, but postcards of paradise rarely sent to me. Postcards of paradise weren't meant for me. Something like love, something like hope, something like beautiful, something I wrote. My postcards from paradise really sent to me. Songs played, Gulam Ali's Udu Ghazals willing from a pastry shop, buzzing with flies. Over stale things, a CPU veil slips over the sky. Allah Akbar, a cleric's voice cries atop the dome from a mobile influence across the temple from a where Rome speak to Shiva steps. Punish our text. Holy men and tunics blessed, the destitute, prostitutes. What's the cost of truth? A lonely high prophet sits on my stoop. His brown hair locked in a basket like strands of jute. The man's a mute, it's a wonder his mandibles move. Hurling curses, reciting verses. They say he sensed the feud of Hindus murdering Muslims and vice versa. Diego, my neighbor, got his neck slit with a sickle in the name of a sacred purge. Yeah, later that summer, my city side was swept with murder, religious fervor. Something like love, something like hope, something like beautiful, something I wrote. A postcards from paradise really sent to me. Postcards from paradise weren't meant for me. Something like love, something like hope, something like beautiful, something I wrote. But postcards from paradise really sent to me. Postcards from paradise weren't meant for me. So two guys can't live in the same alley side by side. Religious rides, firebrand, scar, a black night, flashback to a past life. Fatehganj housing spheres, overlooking thatch and shoddy made dung huts, shantytowns sprouting, stick out like gout. Politicians talking about forward progress now. So these beautiful folks had their huts burned to the ground. With genius lies and all things simplified. They take cow shit, mixed it with grass, a few twigs exposed to the sun. Hit harder when splashed into a few bricks. Absent sweat and you have a makeshift apartment. Follow the stark stench of human spewing disease. Where my people get by simply on ritual beliefs. It's deep in what the British did before they fled. Left more than just English literature, cricket, whiskey, and tea. Psychological damage, famines, but we manage. Cause even a rose grows through cracks of concrete. And a lotus floats hoping the stream of the Ganges. There's love here, but hate too. For that you can blame karma. And now we just say Deepak Chopra and our famed martyr. So why would you want to travel any place farther? You can come leave reassured your world's a safe harbor. So here it is, the picturesque postcard you chase after, complete with Taj Mahals, camels, and snake charmers. Something like love, something like beautiful, something I wrote. But postcards from paradise rarely sent to me. Postcards from paradise weren't meant for me. Something like love, something like beautiful, something I wrote. But postcards from paradise rarely sent to me. Postcards from paradise weren't meant for me. Y'all have been awesome, thank you so much. Give it up to my man Chops and Robert Yank for the special way together. Big up to Bad Rap. Alright, y'all, have a good night.
One thing that wasn't necessarily covered in the film, there's over the years been a lot of different Asian American hip hop artists since before Mount Brothers and obviously after, and there's always been like a really big West Coast scene, and we have an artist from the West Coast. His music entertains as well as educates, and he's definitely an OG in the game. So please give it up for Props, please.
How you guys doing today? Tonight, incredible documentary. Give it up another round of applause for Bad Rap. My name is Pratch. I'm Cambodian. How many Cambodians in the house? All right, all one of you. Well, actually two Cambodians in the house, three including me, guys. We're in the house. Yeah, well, I'm Cambodian. We all have a story to tell. And who here have heard of the killing fields? Well, during the killing fields from 1975 to 1979 in Cambodia, there was a killing field and a quarter of the population was killed off. So I wrote a song called The Great Escape. This is us escaping the war, escaping Cambodia to the Thai border. So again, every artist, every poet, every writer has a story to tell, and this is my story. And this, I wrote this song. It's called The Great Escape. So hopefully you enjoy it. And it goes a little something like this.
One of the most brutal regimes in modern history. The Khmer Rouge ruled Cambodia from 1975 to 1979. Its policies led to the deaths of an estimated 1.7 million people. Thousands of Cambodians fled the country in those years. Many settled in Long Beach, California. But some now find themselves in another killing field. Cambodian-American rappers are capturing the violence of the streets in their music. Chris Richard met the top hip-hopper in the community.
For practically
I was born in a hut, umbilical cord cut, a little bit torn up with the big stormy rug. It muddied the sand, flooded the land. Raindrop from rooftop, had to use pots and pans and drown a town to a lake. I had a close encounter with a venomous snake. I was deep asleep, it was wide awake. All it take was one bite, my life would have ended that day. But it went away, so on earth I was kept, already facing death before I even took my first step. And worse yet, threats around us. Even though I'm a newborn, innocent like a unicorn, I died too if the Khmer Rouge found us. Bomb burst, the land's the bits. People disappear like they never exist. Nobody asks questions, they afraid they'll be next. So many rumors, nobody wanna say shit. Deceiving story about a massive rape pit. I love my land to death, but can't stay no longer. Our only chance is making it across the border. Watch out for booby traps and landmines. Ain't no time to take breaks. Death is close behind. Night or day, it's not okay. Gotta stay awake. No matter what it takes, we gotta make the great escape. Watch out for booby traps and landmines. Ain't no time to take breaks. Death is close behind. Night or day, it's not okay. Gotta stay awake. No matter what it takes, we gotta make the great escape. We take waiting past tense we took. Valuable belongings, wrapped it up with sheets. A pair of pot and pans so we can cook food and eat. Take what weight we can carry and leave the rest behind. We had to move fast, what we didn't have was time. We wasn't the only ones. There were hundreds upon thousands, young and old, men and women and children swimming into the mountain, looking for hopes like fishes searching for water. Our missions crossing over Thailand's border, ran out of food. Eat what we can find, plus we have to watch the steps. Booby trap land, mind thirsty, the water. We had to drink rain. It got to the point where we need blood just to pump the vein. The pressure, the pain. When it's total silent, you know danger's ahead. When the bomb goes off, you know someone is dead. Before with the head, each step takes us closer. We're gonna make it across the border. We lost our heart, but found strength in our soul. Word can't describe, but the story must be told. It's hard to forget what we went through. The woods, the jungles, the fields of death. The struggle continues, but we're gonna make it. Watch out for booby traps and landmines. Ain't no time to take breaks. Death is close behind. Like no day, it's not okay. Gotta stay awake. No matter what it takes, we gotta make the great escape. Watch out for booby traps and landmines. Ain't no time to take breaks. Death is close behind. Like no day, it's not okay. Gotta stay awake. No matter what it takes, we gotta make the great escape. No matter what it takes, we gotta make the great escape. No matter what it takes, we gotta make the great escape. No matter what it takes, we gotta make the great escape. You can just run the next track. This is just me talking. So, can you guys hear me? Because lyrics is important to me. You guys can hear me clearly? Nice. It's ballistic forensic science. That's the future of investigated missile with computer guidance technology. That's the latest thing. They'll order you to court. You haven't done nothing. It's called Minority Report. Pre-crime before it can happen. It moves me, but that's just a movie. What really is, we're dealing with wild foul and child abduction, corporate scandals, government corruption, insider trading, police brutality, more gang, more gun, hardcore, blood, pour on the concrete, war on the streets, a war overseas. Let's reach your front door, the threat is real. Nothing can protect us, no armor, no shield. There's an invisible war, how can I tell? It's within us all and we're battling still. It's an epidemic and it's plaguing us for show. It affects us deep down my memoirs in the invisible war. I've seen dreams shattered into oblivion. It's a fucked up world that we're living in. Life's a paradox with the box of Pandora. Parallel to hell, wars we have more of. I read the obituary like a weekly mag. I done ran out of tears and that they were sad. Kept my ear to the streets, I'm getting used to it. Enjoying the noise, it's therapeutic. Tomorrow's never promised, don't know where we're headed. Apocalypse upon us, body popping up ahead. Tornado, hurricane, acid rain upon me. The ground shake, earthquake, huge wave tsunamis. What is the cost to rebuild our nation? I know it hit trillions, but where does it come from? Shredded files, they fabricate the fact. I'm working back breaking, still paying for tax. Teachers getting laid off, our schools overpacked. Listen to these words, that's where the truth is at. So here it is, I'm trying to raise awareness. Being careless is what got us into this mess. So I suggest we don't rest unless we progress. Cause not even the best can protect us from these threats. Homeland security worries me, I guess. We're in a state of emergency, this is not a test. It's reaching front door, the threat is real. Nothing can protect us, no armor, no shield. This is an invisible war, how can I tell? It's within us all and we're battling still. It's an epidemic and it's plaguing us for sure. It affects us deeply, deep down to the core. Been going on for so long, can no longer ignore. This is my memoirs of the invincible war. You don't know where I've been, what I do to survive. All you see is my skin and the shape of my eyes. Then you're quick to pick and criticize. Say I'm not fit to live in today's society. You fear for your safe, you don't know what I do. I think you don't like me because I'm not like you. We're living in an uncertain time now, there's no more unity. Plus the news of deportation is sending shockwaves to the community. I done seen it all, man, ain't nothing new to me. It's a different world now, it's not how it used to be. I lost one too many friends to those fucked up streets. Look at my eyes swollen, hand holding no dry sheets. And that's immortal, my heart torn in pieces. I've been living in a war zone, I don't know anymore what peace is. So what happened recently just got me thinking. I feel like an endangered species facing extinction. So this is it, a revolution. I'm rebelling, no more resistance. The meaning of my reason is fighting for existence. Because it's me, he who's not afraid to speak his mind. And lyrically my rhyme can withstand the testaments of times. Who should have been to Long Beach? Long Beach. Wait. Long Beach, California. Nice. So Long Beach, California in 2007 has recognized one ethnic group and gave it a name of a town. So in 2007, we finally got recognized as Cambodia Town. So Long Beach, thank you. Long Beach has the largest concentration of Cambodia outside of Southeast Asia. So it took us 13 years to petition and protest with the city and finally got it recognized as Cambodia Town, set there on Anaheim Street. So if you go to LA, there's Filipino Town, Chinatown, Koreatown, there's even probably a dog town. But in Long Beach, it's known as the international city. We're the only ethnics to be recognized to have a city or a town called Cambodia Town. Thank you. So this is this next song is called the Artifacts. It's me breaking down my culture, breaking down my community. So this is me breaking down my community in Long Beach, California, in Cambodia Town, and it goes to a song like this. Beyond the killing fields, 4 decades after the genocide, after 2 million people murdered, another 5 million survived. The fabric of a culture, beauty drips the texture. I find myself in Long Beach, the next Cambodia Mecca. Besides self-mind, Westside, and Kuwait. Some people still struggling on the aftermath of Pol Pot. For some future so bright, look like high beams. For others, a lost in the American nowhere fast, hitting speed bumps, driving in circles, vehicles running out of gas, and there's a gap in our generation between the adults and kids. But since I'm bilingual, I'ma use communication as a bridge. First, I'ma knock down these walls between me and my parents. Listen to their story and all without interference. What they experience is evil at its darkest form. Their heart, bodies, and soul shattered and torn. The trauma of the war affect the refugees and foreigners suffering from deep depression, post-traumatic stress disorder. It's a new world order, new threats that we're facing, from terrorists and INS deportation. You can try to fight it, go ahead, be my guest, because it's one strike and you're out of the US. And there's an epidemic that's killing us for show over things we don't even own, like blocks and territory. So-called OGs recruiting young ones, jumping them in gangs, giving them used guns, not even old enough to speak, already holding heat. They walk in the dangerous route, talking about cold of the streets. Seeking you'll find the truth is where my heart's at. I'm speaking my mind, I let my rhyme design as artifacts. Line for line, from front to back. From the heart of patch comes this artifact. I say seeking you'll find the truth is where my heart's at. I speak in my mind and let my rhyme design as artifacts. Line for line, from front to back. From the heart of patch comes this artifact. I've been asleep snoring, now I'm waking from a nap. My brain's been storming, so I put on my thinking cap. I'm digging deep into my mind, sometimes I find it hard to hack. But I'm a messenger this time, delivering you these artifacts. Fast track races, love cars, spending every dollars and cents. They're getting it all fixed up, mixed up in bad investment, but that's your choice to choose. Some parents is still confused the difference between discipline and child abuse. I used to get hit and whip with wires in the ball. It used to be a family matter until the law got involved. For boys hanging out, that's okay, unlimited minutes. For girls, what you talking about? That's prohibited. Some are scared of it, pushing them to the edge. Some parents still believe in fixing up marriages. I inherited all of this, the knowledge of the fact. Being a Khmer that I am, I feel the weight on my back. Man, look what we're building over there in Long Beach, a Cambodia town down Anaheim Street. The seed has been planted, foundation has been laid. All it takes a little time and voila, it's all great. I was raised not to be racist, so my judgment is colorblind fold. To judge one's course of action and keep their mind frame on hold. We're gonna stick together like cooked rice in the bowl. Open up stores, market, merchandise sold. Business bureaus to agencies, chambers and commerce. Teachers, doctors to law, y'all. We even running for offices. And there's hopes in the kids. They're learning faster than we did. Traditional dances to classical music. Old method is still used. You get sick, you get coined. New Year celebration, everybody come and join. I am proud to say I am the Khmer with pride. Because I refuse to let my culture die. Seeking you'll find the truth is where my heart's at. I speak in my mind, I let my rhyme design as artifacts. Line for line, from front to back. From the heart of patch comes this artifacts. Who here like John Lennon? Who here like karaoke? Okay, there's a few of you guys. I keep on saying like karaoke is like a drug, right? Like you guys don't admit it in public, but you do it in private. Who here heard the song Imagine? Do you guys know the hook of this? If you hear it, you can sing along to it. You guys can sing along to it? Okay, so this is my last song. Of course, I didn't get the clearances right to do this song because it's a John Lennon song. Come on, guys. But if you know how to sing along, come on, sing along. This is the last song. Let's end it together with a high energy, because what's happened recently, I feel like our nation's being divided right now with what's going on, and I feel like we all live in one planet, one Earth, one sun, and we need to be with each other. We need to learn how to live together and love one another. So if you can sing along, if you know the lyrics, sing along to it and help out and sing as loud as you can. All right, and it goes something like this. There's so much in my head, but I must speak with my heart. We born to live only to die. So witness your life through your own eyes. Then ask yourself, who am I? A soul in the body that could be anybody. So put love above all, build bridges, break walls, so we should all care. Injustice everywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. We have a rainbow of culture for one earth, one sun. We need to learn to live together before there is none. You may say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. One. Imagine that, everybody, so we can. You may say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. I hope someday you come and join us, because together we can be. You see, it's one world, one love, one life to live. The children's our future, so unite the kids, show them that it's united we'll stand and divided we'll fall. It's all for one man, one for all. I know you hear that saying so many times before, but yet we're still dying off of man-made wars. So take the time and think, all the bombs and the tank can make mankind extinct. We have a rainbow of culture, but one earth, one sun. We need to learn to live together before there is none. You may say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. One. Imagine that, everybody, so we can. You may say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. I hope someday you come and join us, because together we can be. Thank you.
One more time for Brother Pratch. One more time for Brother Chi Malabar. And one more time for Jaeki. Let's hear it again for Bad Rap. And let's hear it for Robin and crew at Philadelphia Asian-American Film Festival. Real quick, like Rob said, I got into scoring recently, so there's two films actually playing in Philadelphia Asian-American Film Festival next week that I scored. One is called Good Luck Soup, it's playing on Friday, and one is called Breathing, the Eddie Zhang Story, it's playing on Saturday. Just wanted to do a quick plug right there.
Well, thanks everybody for coming tonight. This has absolutely been my favorite program we've done yet, this festival at least. You know, it's always fun. I watch every single film that's in the festival. I've literally seen everything except for the live performances, and so these are always my favorite part. But you know, this is only day 3 of 11. We have so much more of the festival. I hope that you guys will come and join us for some more programs. Tomorrow, we're here all day. First film starts at 12, and then check the program. We're gonna be moving around the city. Monday, Tuesday, Community College, Philadelphia. Wednesday, Thursday, Fleischer Art Memorial. Friday through Sunday, Asian Arts Initiative in Chinatown. Thanks so much for coming. Get home safe.